class, and we will still be on the topic of options, which is one of the most important derivatives in the financial world. So the options here, let me just use the Excel file to type in what I want to say. So you have two kinds of options, as we know. One is a call option, another is a put option. And the call option gives the option buyer the right to buy at a specific price, and we call this exercise price. Okay, and the put option give the option buyer the right to sell. Okay, the right to sell at a specific price. All right, so you see, it is about a right and not obligation for the buyers, but it is an obligation for the option writer, which is the option seller, when the option buyer chooses to exercise the option. All right, this is something we have gone through before, just a little bit review. And also, there's a price for the option. So what the price? What do we call that price? We call it premiums. Okay, premium. So that is the price of options. That's what we call them. And you have a call premium, you have a put premium, and right here in the PowerPoint, it tells you how the premiums are determined. So you have three factors. One is S minus X. S basically is a spot rate. X is the exercise exchange rate. And you have a T, which is a time to maturity, how long the option will not be expired. And then you have a sigma, which is the volatility of the exchange rate. So basically, there are three factors that determine the premium. So let's say one, going from the easiest, is a time, another is a volatility, and then profitability. Thinking about this, option is like an insurance plan, all right? So it just provides a tool to hedge the risk, so you are able to sell or buy at a specific price that was predetermined, right? So you don't have to bear the risk in the exchange market. You don't have to get hurt when the volatility hits up or down, right? So essentially, option is an insurance plan. And what makes the insurance more expensive? And definitely, when the situation is more dangerous, that makes the insurance more expensive. For example, if the time is longer, I mean the time to maturity is longer, that means there's more uncertainty when the time is longer. A lot of things could happen in a long time, so that helps boost up the premium. So the premium will go up, okay? And also, if the volatility is high, so volatility basically is the risk in the exchange rate. So we use the standard deviation to calculate that risk. So this is a small volatility, and this is a big volatility. Well, since I have the board here, I'm going to utilize my basement equipment. So this is a time T, and this is the exchange rate. Let's say this amount of dollar per British pound. So as time goes by, the rate may go like this. All right, and for high volatile exchange rates, let's say it may be the Hungarian forint. Okay, it may go like this. Okay, so you can definitely see the Hungarian forint is more volatile, and there's more risk involved. So if the volatility is high, then the premium should be up. Of course, that option would provide more value when the volatility is high, when the situation is more dangerous. And in terms of profitability, it's a little bit different for call option and put option. So the profitability for call option is the spot rate minus the strike rate, okay? And for put option, it is the strike minus spot. So what you see here is the call option give the option buyer the right to buy. Sorry, it's right here, the right to buy. And if you buy, then you will pay the strike price, which is denoted by X. If you sell, you're gonna sell at the current prevailing spot rate, which is S. You see, S is for spot, X is for exercise. Just put a side note there. And this is S, and this is X. So if you buying it, you're gonna pay for that. So this is a negative, right? You pay for the money, that's a negative. And if you're selling it, you're getting that, so that's a positive. So for call option, you buy at exercise, you sell at spot. So your net profit would be S minus X. And for put option, it's the opposite. So for put option, if the put option is in the money, then the seller can, the buyer of the put option can sell at excess price. To sell at X and simultaneously to buy at spot. So there's no foreign currency assets left over. So your position is cleared. So you sell at X, so that's a positive, and then you buy at spot, that's negative. So that's how the put option makes money. And this is how the call option makes money. So when this profitability goes up, let me just circle them all. Oops. When the profitability goes up, then your premium will go up. Okay. So that's how the premium are determined. If you are going for a master degree in finance, you're probably going to learn the Black and Scholes model. It's more complicated than that, and there's some mathematical derivation combining the time, the volatility, and the spot and the strike and all this. There's a math model to develop the exact premium or the price of the options. So for now, for this undergraduate class, you just need to know that time, volatility, and profitability determines the option premium. And for call option and the put option, it works differently. For call option, if a spot rate goes up or strike rate is down, then the call option is more valuable. And for put option, if the strike goes up or the spot rate goes down, it is more valuable. All right, so get back to our PowerPoint. So what you see here is this is for account premium. Is determined by time, volatility, and a spot minus strike. So if this difference between spot minus strike is getting larger, then the call premium would be higher. And for put option, it is the opposite. So the put option right here is not exactly the same as what I wrote in Excel. In Excel, I wrote X minus S. When this goes up, then the put option premium would go up. But in the PowerPoint, it's S minus X, the opposite of that. When this goes up, the put premium would go down. It conveys the same message, okay? It conveys the same message. Or you can just remember when the spot rate for call option, when the spot rate is going up, the call option becomes more valuable. And when the spot rate is going up, the put option becomes less valuable. And that drives the premium down. Okay, now let me use a table of numbers to show you how the option works. So let's see, we have a call option, and the premium, just say call premium, make it equal to $0.02. All right. So this is for international finance, so I have to have an underlying asset that has to be at a currency. But for your other finance course, like investment or option futures, you can use the same model, same idea to apply to other assets. So for now, let me use the assets as pound, okay, British pound, just say pound. All right, I don't have to give the size of a pound. I don't have to say it has to be 200,000 pounds. Well, this is analysis at per pound level, okay? And then let's say the strike here, let me make it $1.64 per pound, all right? This is all at a per pound level. And then you have a spot rate. Well, you don't know where the spot rate would be, right? Okay, at maturity or any time between now and the maturity of the option, you don't know what the spot rate would be. But you can calculate under what your profit would be under a certain spot rate. Let's say, let me throw in some random number. Let me just go with 1.80, all right? Well, you need to know, is that good or bad for you if the spot rate turns out to be 1.80? Well, you need to know that the strike rate is the right to buy at the strike, right? If you buy, that's something you pay, and then you sell the pound you purchased at the spot at a rate that is higher than the strike. Well, the spot rate is higher than the strike, then you are making money. So that's a good situation, right? But that's not good enough. I want you to be able to calculate the profit, all right? So how do you calculate the profit? Well, definitely you pay the premium of 2 cents per pound, right? And then when you access the option, you're gonna pay for the strike, and then you're gonna sell at a spot, all right? That's how much profit you make per British pound multiplied by 200,000. You will calculate how much your profit would be if your guess is right. Okay, now let me throw another number. If the spot rate is $1.4, so what will be your profit? As a buyer, sorry, I need to be more specific. Profit of a buyer. As a buyer, then your profit would still include this premium you call negative, and then you will need to know, should I just pay for the strike price and then sell at the spot and then have this much of a loss? Well, you shouldn't, because as long as you realize the spot rate is lower than the strike, you know that if you ever exercise it, you will be getting more loss, adding more loss to your burden, in addition to the premium you pay. So you just choose not to exercise it, and then just go away with the premium paid. That's it. That's how the game is played. Does that make sense to you? So it doesn't matter whether it's 1.4 or 1.6, as long as the spot rate is lower than 1.64, then you just walk away. You let the option expire. You don't exercise it. Let's say no exercise it. Right here, you exercise it. Okay, so that's your activity. Okay, so now I'm about to do something more comprehensive. I want to start the spot rate from 0 and having it increase with $0.02. Okay, so the next number, 0.02. All right, make the format consistent. And then I will just drag it all the way down. I think it's good enough. That's long enough. I have simulated over 100 numbers. Okay, starting from here. So what's your profit of the buyer? Now let's talk about the if statement. The if statement. Well, maybe I don't have to write it on the board. I just put out that in Excel. So what is if statement? So basically, if you start with any Excel formula with an equal sign and then you type in if, parentheses, this is what it shows. Logical test, value if true, value if false. So what makes a difference to access the call option or not access the call option? All right, so you have two situations. If it is a true or if it is a false. Okay, if it is true, you exercise it. If it is false, you don't exercise it. So that's how we play the game. So when do we access the option, the call option? It is when the spot rate is greater than the strike. So I'm going to use this spot rate. It is 0, I know it. And if this is greater than the strike, well, I know definitely it will not. So if this whatever rate is here is true, then I will make the money. So the money I make will be the spot minus strike, then minus the premium. Okay. Otherwise, I do not access the option. Then I just pay the premium and realize the loss that is only equal to the premium, and then walk home. So this is how the game is played. Sorry, it's inactive. Okay, I want you to spend a little more moment. Maybe you want to do a pause and then check it more carefully. So this is negative 0.02. And if I change this number to another number, I want you to pay attention. Let's say if it is 1.0, that's still negative 0.02. I still don't make any profit. I still pay the premium. If it is 1.64, I'm still break even and not making money. If it is 1.90, now we're talking. We're making a lot of money, right? So if I change it to 1.80, I'm still making money. If I change to 1.65 now, that's a little bit different. You see, at net level, I'm still losing, but I'm better than just paying the 2-cent premium because I have made 1 cent more, all right, from the spot minus strike. Do you see that? I pay the premium, negative 0.02, but from the difference between spot and a strike, I made 0.01. So that reduced my loss from negative 0.02 to negative 0.01. Okay. So just to recoup to whatever I said before, set it as 0, and then you see I have a lot of numbers. So based on all these numbers, I can just double click and oops, sorry, I shouldn't double click because I do have to lock this strike rate there. So this B3 is where I put the strike rate. If I want to drag it all the way down, I want to make sure this cell is locked, and I want to make these cells to be flexible. So let me just lock the B3, lock it, but don't lock B2, B2 should lock it as well. Okay, but don't lock A6 wherever you put the spot rate. All right, so the numerical output is still there. It does not change, but I do have locked a certain cells because I don't want them to be shifted when I drag it down. So how to lock? You hit F4. That's a hotkey on your keyboard, or you just manually type in the $sign. Okay, just manually typing the $sign in front of the letter B, which is for the column, in front of the row 2. All right, so that's an example. All right, and then I feel safe to drag it down. The reason I messed up at the beginning is because I did not lock the cells as I should be. All right, so if I scroll it down, when the spot rate increases to all these numbers, as you can see, my number will change, the profit will increase, because when the spot rate gets higher than the strike, I begin to exercise the option and lock in some nice profit. Okay. And what about for the option writer? I don't want to say option seller because that's gonna confuse you, especially when it is for the put option. So the option writer is the counterpart of the option buyer. The option writer is the person who creates this option and sold to the option buyer. So when the option buyer does not exercise it, what happened to the option writer? Ha ha ha, they're laughing because they are making money. When the option buyer did not exercise it, they just walk home with the premium collected from the buyer. So if the spot rate is 0, then the option writer would make a 0.02 here. All right, but what about if the spot rate is pretty high? It is 1.96, and the option buyer makes a profit of 0.30, then the option writer would suffer loss of 0.30. So that's how the game is played. Okay, so still I want you to craft this if statement. You're gonna do it in your assignment, by the way. If the spot rate, whatever it is given here, now is 0, I may change it to some other number. I may drag it down just to take as given. If the spot rate is greater than the strike, then for the option writer, well, that's a situation when the option buyer makes money, they will buy at the strike price from the option writer. So the option writer will have to sell at the strike price to the option buyer. Okay, So when the option writer sell at a strike, then this is the profit of the option part of the that's the proceeds for the option writer, and then the writer will collect from the spot market. Okay. They need to buy from the spot market in order to be able to sell at a strike to the option buyer. And then the option writer always collect the premium no matter what. So this is a situation when the call option get exercised. And if the call option does not exercise, then the call option writer right here would just collect the premium. All right, just to put the premium in there and then hit enter. Okay, so now I'm going to change this number from 0 to some large number, 1.8. As you can see, the option buyers has made a profit, then the option writer would suffer the loss. Okay, as I said, the option market is a zero-sum game. It's a zero-sum game, and there's a winner, then there definitely will be a loser. So when the buyer makes the 14 cents per pound, then the writer would lose 14 cents per pound. And there's no up limit for the profit of the buyer, which means there's no down limit loss for the option writer. All right. So I recoup this as 0 because I want to maintain the whole column, make it consistent. Before I drag it down, I want to lock some numbers here. I want to lock the strike price. It will not be shifted. Strike price and also the call premium. This will not be shifted. All right, and then just double click, drag it down. Oh, I had this water there. I don't want it. Okay, just double click and drag it down. Okay, so you can see when the spot rate is below 1.64, then the option does not get exercised, and the option writer just make the money. And when it is, oops, make it $1. Then whatever the buyer makes would be the loss of the writer. All right. So if I want to draw a chart indicating the profit for option buyer and option writer as the spot rate goes by, it can be anywhere. So this is what I will do. I will insert a chart here. Okay, make it a scatter chart with straight lines and markers. Okay, and there will be 2 series in the chart. And I will choose select data. Okay, and I add 1 series. I just say profit of option buyer. The X values would be the spot rate. Just select all of them. The Y values would be the profit of the buyer. So that's the curve. Okay, this is a curve. All right, then I add another series. This is called profit for option writers. The X value will be all the spot rates here. And the Y values will be all the profit there. Okay, so this is my chart. As you can see, the buyer's profit and the writer's profit mirror each other. It's a symmetric. And when you add them together, it's a zero-sum game. Maybe I want to change the chart type to a scatter chart, let's say with smooth line. Okay, with smooth line. Let's don't put markers there. You can see there is a little gap, so which means these lines, either the orange line or the blue line, they are not exactly at the horizontal axis. So that's basically the premium positive negative. Let me just show you what I mean. Let me insert the say go up. Let me just make the premium a little bit larger, make it a 0.20. Well, now we're talking, right? So if I increase the call premium a little bit higher, then the gap will be widened. So this is the premium the option writer makes, and then when the call option get exercised, then they'll keep losing money. And this is the premium the call option buyer pays, and when they exercise it, they start to recoup the loss, and then they make the profit. And then to select the chart type, okay, do a quick layout. So, well, this should just say the profit curve contingent line. Okay, the x-axis would be the spot rate. Yeah, spot rate. And the y-axis would be the the y-axis would be the profit. So x-axis would be spot rate. And right here it is profit. Okay. Make the format down the bottom. Oh, I have to move myself down the bottom. Okay. So now you have a very nice chart indicating how the option buyer and option seller making money for the call options. All right, now let's work on the put option. So it's basically the same format as we did for the call option. I just need to change the names from a call to put. So it's a it's a put option of a bond, and then the buyers pay put premium, and you also have the strike price. But this time, the put option gives the buyer the right to sell. Okay, that's right. The put option gives the option buyer the right to sell the assets. And what is the underlying assets? That's right, it's the British pound. So again, I'm going to use this column of possible spot rates in the future. And for the profit, I'm going to trim it a little bit. Okay, so let me just start over. If, all right, so here we have to consider when does the put option buyer would make money. Well, if you want to sell at 1.64 for 1 British pound, definitely want to pay lower price to buy that pound, right? So when the spot rate is 0, the buyer is actually happy because the buyer can buy a British pound at $0 and then sell at 1.64 and make the money. So the put option basically, the profit of it basically is determined by the spot rate goes lower. All right. So let's see if the spot rate is lower than the strike. Okay, then the option buyer would choose to exercise the put option, and then they will sell at 1.64, so that's positive, and simultaneously buy at the spot, and definitely they would pay for the put premium. Okay, so that's when the spot rate goes lower, when that's profit made by the put option buyer. And if the spot rate is not lower than that, then the other outcome would be the put option buyer choose not to exercise it, then they will just suffer a loss of the premium. Okay, so at net level, the put option buyer has this much of a profit when the spot rate is 0. So if I change the spot rate to a high number, let's say 1.80, well, what happened? Then the put option buyer doesn't have any money to make, because if they sell at 1.64, they will need to buy at 1.8. You may wonder, why do they need to buy at 1.8? Why they just buy a pound at somewhere else? The thing is, we're talking about quite large size of the option, because the size for British pound could be easily 200,000. So you have to buy that amount. So if you buy 200,000 pounds or sell 200,000 pounds, you need to make sure you're gonna get rid of it at the end of the day. You want to clear your position, otherwise it's too much burden for you. Okay, so when you sell at 1.64, you have to buy it somewhere else to clear your position. Oops. All right. So, and for the option writer, just for easy purpose, you can just make it exactly the opposite of the option buyer. As I said, it's a zero-sum game. If you don't want to write if statement, if you don't want to go through the logical analysis, then you just put a negative buyer's profit as the profit for the writer. All right. So let me recoup the setting back to 0. Then this is the profit for buyer and the seller. And I just drag it down. As you can see, what I forgot. Well, I forgot to lock the strike and the premium, which does not change when I drag it down. So once again, I'm going to use F4 to lock the strike rate and also the premium wherever I put it. Okay. And then drag it all the way down. So as you can see, when the spot rate goes up, there's less and less room for the put option buyer to make money. And when the spot rate hit the strike of 1.64, as you can see, the put option buyer is actually suffering a loss. Okay. All right. And for the profit of the writer, just drag it down, which exactly mirror the profit of the buyer. All right, so this is the contingent curve for put option for the profits of a put option buyer and writer. Okay, so what's the point? So get back to my PowerPoint. If you look at this slides, so let me shrink myself a little bit. So this is the profit curve for the call option buyer. This is the profit curve for the put option buyer. You see for purchasers. Okay, call put. And then you also have the profit curve for the writers. Okay, so the sellers or the writers of the call option of the put option. So how do they make money? For call option purchaser, here is where they make the money. And for put option purchaser or the put option buyer, here is where they make money. And for the call option seller, they make money when the spot rate is going down. And for the put option seller, they make money when the spot rate is going up. Okay, so it really depends on how you perceive the market. So, as I said, the put option of no matter for call option or put option, the buyer's profit is always a negative of the writer's profit. Okay. So if you expect the spot rate to increase, so how do you establish your position? You can, when the spot rate goes up, let's say for each British pound, you may go to 1.54 or higher. So you want to be right here. Okay, you want to be a call option buyer, or right here you want to be a put option seller, because only when you are a call option buyer and put option seller, when the spot rate goes high, then you make money. This is money and this is money. Okay, if you expect the future spot rate going to decrease, all right, so you want to be a option buyer or a call option seller. Okay, because when the spot rate is going down, the put option buyer makes money, and also the call option seller make money. Okay, so that's how we play the game.